So here's the scoop. Okay, last Sunday, Argentina beat Colombia in the Copa America final, 1-0. And then after that, the team on the bus decided to live stream them, for some reason singing a racist song about France. The lyrics, from what I remember, they go something like, all the French players are from Angola, are also homophobic as well.
I'm consuming.
Because they also shit on Mbappe for supposedly having sex with trans people. It's like the most obviously racist thing you'll ever see in your life. And it's so funny to see people try to say that it's not racist. Argentina, bus video, viral. Let's check it out. They're missing a line here, but they play for France, but they are from Angola. And then they say Mbappe, who likes to fuck trans people. His mother is Nigerian and his father Cameroonian, but on the passport he is French. Basically, it's like everyone fucking knows. I find it very funny the way that idiotic Argentines try to frame this as being an anti-colonial chat. Like, France has to steal the players from Africa when all of the players on the Argentine teams have grandpas or fathers from other countries as well. They're all immigrants as well. And very clearly the reason why they are bringing this up about France because they're black. The problem that they have here is not that they're immigrants. The problem that they have is that they're black. And the only defense that these people fucking have, they don't try to defend it. They just say but racism in France is worse. But racism in the USA is worse. You guys can't lecture us about racism. For one, who fucking cares? These people singing this song are being racist. It's an individual thing. It doesn't matter if people in France or the USA are more racist than in Argentina. What matters is that these people in this fucking video right here are very clearly being racist. Also makes no sense anyway, because what does Nigeria and Angola have to do with France? Anyway, just fucking pure idiotic ignorance. So they try to turn it into a national debate on which country is more racist, which makes no sense. Because these people here were being racist regardless of whether they're France or Argentine or fucking New Zealander or whatever. They were clearly being racist. And for two, all that these people do is get negatively polarized into acting like racism does not exist in Argentina because Americans like to talk about it to deflect from their own racism, which yeah, they do. But their reaction to that is to pretend that there's no such thing as racism in Argentina. And it's so fucking annoying. And it's also getting worse because Milei, who is obviously inspired by the international racist far right, has emboldened a lot of incel lumpen losers who live on the internet to try and import European and American style racism to Argentina. So for how much it's true that America is worse, and that really a lot of the racism currently in Argentina, which has gotten way worse since Milei became elected, people just openly deciding that it's okay to be racist, is specifically due to Milei being someone who's essentially importing the ideology of the European and American far right to Argentina. As much as that is true, it's fucking hilarious the way that people have no response to what is clearly an individualized case of racism. Or, it's a group, but you know what I mean. Just because it's worse in the USA, it means that anything that any Argentines being racist is okay. It makes no fucking sense at all. It's embarrassing. It's
fucking
incredibly stupid. And this is such a big deal in Argentina, which makes no fucking sense at all. That the fucking vice president came out to post a tweet about this and defend him. And the vice president, by the way, if you want to know who she is the daughter of a military torturer and rapist from the 76 to 83 dictatorship who raped, tortured, and murdered political opponents, basically at the behest of the United States of America. So that's basically her entire being. The only reason that anyone knows who she is because she defends the military rapists and torturers from the US-backed dictatorship. And she basically failed upwards. She never had a job before until she became the vice president, thanks to being chosen for the position by Javier Milei. She posted one of the most insanely stupid, opportunistic things I've ever seen in my life. Here we go. It says, Argentina is a sovereign and free country. We never had colonies. Your country is literally a colony. What are you talking about? Nor second-class citizens. We never imposed our form of life on anyone. But we are also not going to tolerate what they do to us. Argentina was made with the sweat and courage of the Indians, the Europeans, the local Europeans, and the blacks. And then she names a bunch of black figures from Argentine history. No colonial country is going to fucking tell us or shit on us for, a football song. This is what I said. They try to make it a contest between which country is more racist, when literally They were singing the most clearly racist song you could ever fucking imagine. Now, you might not be surprised to find out what this woman's opinion of black people is, which she had clearly available on her Twitter account, and which I will now show you. You might not at all be surprised to find what it is that she thinks when it's not convenient for her to pretend to denounce colonialism, which, by the way, is fucking ludicrous. Because these people fucking love the US, they love Europe, they hate their own country. They want nothing more than for Argentina to be just the colony of the US and Europe. They see European colonialism, they're like, yeah, we fucking love that. More of it. Here is a tweet from her talking about the migration of Africans to Argentina. I don't deny that there are some good immigrants, but we can't accept, for example, Nigerians and Senegalese people who don't even know how to speak the language. And they enter the country helped by who knows who, and then they don't even respect our authority. Like, to even single out Nigerian and Senegalese migrants to Argentina is fucking bizarre. For one, no Nigerians come here. Where'd she even get that? And the Senegalese speak French, and they learn Spanish in 2 weeks. Well, and there's also like not even any problem with them. It makes no sense to like anyone who is singling out Senegalese people is doing it because they're black. Because Senegalese migrants to Argentina, like the least troublesome group of migrants anyone could ever fucking hope for. They come here, they immediately get jobs from their own community. You know, they don't do crime or anything. They all work. They all learn Spanish practically fucking immediately. They're like the dream migrants. Like any country would love to receive them. But she has like a bunch of tweets specifically complaining about fucking African migrants to Argentina. So anyone singling them out when they are literally like the most well-integrated group of migrants. They come here, they learn Spanish in 2 weeks, all of them work. To single them out, she's doing it because she's a racist. And now she comes out years later being like, I celebrate Argentina's black history. These people fucking deny Argentina's black history as much as possible. And it's something to do that all sides do, not just the libertarians. You know, people who like to pretend they're on the left, tell them that like Argentina had like a 30% black population 200 years ago and they'll get fucking angry at you and deny it. For some reason, like they want to deny it. And like just because Americans have a bunch of made up stories about like black genocide in Argentina, they are negatively polarized to denying that black people ever even exist in Argentina in any significant proportion of the population. And it's such a fucking weird, incredibly weird impulse to have. Like anyone who allows their political beliefs to be like negatively polarized, to be influenced by what other people say and just choosing the opposite of what they say, is a person who is very stupid and probably has no internal monologue and doesn't have object permanence. And they're the worst kind of person. They're the dumbest kind of person. And Milei's making everything so much worse. I'm not saying it was like super bad or anything before, but people like Americans are very stupid. They take the fact that there is a relatively low amount of black people in Argentina as evidence of Argentina being racist. And that like gets people to be like, no, we never really had much black people in Argentina, which isn't true. But it's also not true that the reason that there's a low black population in Argentina is specifically due to some sort of historic systemic racism. If anything, it's to do with the opposite. The fact that there was no segregation. So, a relatively low amount of black migrants came compared to white migrants from Europe. But there is certainly a problem with racism in Argentina, which is mostly racism against people from neighboring countries. Far more so than black people. Like if there's anyone who Argentine, it is like Bolivians or anyone who they perceive as like being indigenous for their liking. That's the real problem, the real racist problem in Argentina. You see a black person in Argentina, you're probably going to assume it's just like a random Brazilian tourist, if anything. The problem is that now that we have a president who is connected with the international far right, people are trying to import like anti-black racism, which is usually not even really thought about by people here that much. And racism is so bad that like you get people who are very clearly like brown themselves LARPing as white and hating other brown people. Like Milei has like an entire troll brigade who like all of them perceive themselves as white, and they like post on the internet about how much they hate like negros, which for them means Bolivians, without realizing that they themselves look exactly like the average Bolivian. It's such a fucking joke. Like Argentina as a country is probably like 50% brown. Easily 40-50% brown, and a huge portion of those people believe that they are white and insult other brown people for not being white like they are. Incredibly stupid and disgusting. But that's a different problem to this idea of there being like specifically anti-black African racism in Argentina that's like endemic or whatever. The Argentine national football team, by the way, are horrible people. Most of them are absolutely awful people. All of them except Lisandro Martinez are horrible people. Shit people. Messi as well. They are so bad. They're shit people. I'm glad to say that. I don't give a shit if an Argentine sees this and gets mad at me. They're horrible fucking people. They're the sorts of depoliticized, apolitical people who tacitly support the far right, or even in private openly do support the far right. Because when you take a neutral position on like fascism, you're just supporting fascism. They are horrible people. Messi as well. Messi constantly gets his teammates to, like, he's like, no, you can't be racist here. Don't chant that racist chant. Not because he's against racism, but because he's way better PR trained than the rest of them. He knows to keep his politics on the down low. But at the end of the day, what do you think the politics of a billionaire hotel chain owner like Lionel Messi are? Who do you think he voted for? We know. We fucking know. None of these kids, like very few of people in the Argentine national team, really grew up with any sort of oppression or having any sort of class consciousness as is common in other countries. Like Mbappe, for example. At the very least, he's like, don't vote for the far right, you know? Other black football players in the French team are as well because they have experiences with racism growing up. Argentine players, a lot of them were poor, but not on a level as they used to be like Maradona was. So you get people like Sergio Aguero. The government tried to introduce a small tax on people who were on the ultra-rich during the pandemic to pay for like pandemic emergency measures, and he did nothing but complain about it. He's like an open like Bitcoin lover, like libertarian idiot. It's very similar to like the way that like 90% of the big Brazilian footballers love Bolsonaro because all they understand is that I am rich, I have money. This guy is good for people who are rich like me. I don't care about anyone but myself. I like him. That is also the Argentine national football team. So this is exactly what I would expect from them. I would expect this random, bizarre, out-of-place, anti-black racism from people whose only ever interaction with black people in their entire lives have been with their fellow like footballers. Because obviously when you're rich, you're white. Honestly, Enzo Fernandez, I wouldn't even call him white, but he clearly perceives of himself as such. You know, Lautaro Martinez, who won the fucking Copa America for Argentina with his goal, very clearly a brown guy, but it doesn't matter because to them they perceive of themselves as white somehow. Because like in Latin America, it's always been like, you got money, you're basically white. That's all that matters. As you know, provided that you're happy to conform with like the racism that you're supposed to exude as someone at that level of privilege. So yeah, like the Argentine national team is a bunch of shitheads. It doesn't surprise me at all that they would chant this. The only thing that's stopping them from chanting this openly is the fact that people in other countries will get mad about it. Which, to be fair, there is elements of truth to the fact that it's fucking laughable for the French and the English and the Americans to shit on Argentina for a supposed racism problem when they have it much worse. But it doesn't change the fact that these people are clearly openly fucking racist as individuals. Even if that doesn't really say much about Argentina, they play with black players. Some of them play with these specific French black players who they were fucking making fun of in their clubs. For them to be chanting something like this and not to be like, wait, what the fuck am I chanting? This, you know, what would my friend think about this? There's something clearly fucking wrong there. And there's something clearly wrong with the team leader Lionel fucking Messi as well. That his team, because this is his team, make no mistake, this is his team, that his team is comfortable chanting about this when they think that they're not, you know, no one else can see it. When they think that they're behind closed doors. It says a lot about what his beliefs are when the cameras aren't rolling and there's no microphones around. So yeah, well, I mean, Argentina sucks, but not as much as other countries, don't get me wrong. But it's getting worse because of the importation of ideology from those countries, thanks to Javier Milei and his idiotic followers. It's very similar to the way that Bolsonaro basically emboldened the Brazilian racist far right. And I don't know. Argentines are so fucking idiotic. They're so fucking stupid sensitive about racism. It's absurd. They just cannot. You can't talk about it with them. Like if they see a video of like a black person talking about, yeah, you know, sometimes people treat me weird here. I've been called racist names once or twice. They will like immediately be like, CIA. This is clearly a CIA program to spread the idea that that there's racism in Argentina. And Milei's fans say that. Milei's fans, the one who want to sell their fucking asshole to Elon Musk as soon as possible, will try to tell you that the evil USA is doing a CIA project to lie about there being racism in Argentina. The very fucking people who want their country to be colonized up the asshole by Donald Trump will also tell you that the idea that there is racism in Argentina is a plot by the evil USA to delegitimize Argentina. Like they suddenly become anti-colonialist nationalists. God, they're so ridiculous. It's like that's where that tweet by the vice president that I showed you comes from as well. Anyway, there's the Argentina racism scandal. We talked about it. Now give me your money.